Good evening. Welcome to the Avenue G Church of Christ Sunday Adult Bible Study. This study is going to be coming from the book of Genesis, and it's Joseph the Dreamer. And it's Genesis 37, verses 1 through 22. What are we going to be discussing? We're going to be talking about Joseph's age at this time and what was his occupation? What was he working as at this particular time? And his relationship with his brothers and the dreams that he had, and then his brothers' plot. Our verse chosen for the lesson was from Genesis 4 and 9. And it reads, Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel, your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And that's what this lesson is about brothers and how they were treating each other and why they were treating each other the way they were. Before we start our lesson, let us pray together. Father, Most High God, deliverer and protector of mankind, thank you for all that you have done, Father. Thank you for still allowing us to be on this side of the time of life. Be with us as we go through this study, Father. Let us listen to those things that are talked about and let us apply what we can to our lives. Let us know, Father, that I hope we will learn, Father, just how it is we should treat our children and not show favoritism one over another. Be with us in this turbulent time, Father, with this pandemic that we're going through. We have this vaccine, Father, and we know that it's nothing but your doing. We just pray, Father, that it will all go well. For these and all blessings we do ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, we have a video here. And it's going to be talking about favoritism and how we treat our children.
I want to talk to you about the parental curse of a favored child. Now, I want to remind you maybe one of the reasons to listen to me, not just that I grew up in a dysfunctional home, but in the course of my life in pastoral counseling and developing systems dynamics, kind of working on a doctorate, and having part of that is counseling to get over dysfunction. All those things have come together in my life to appreciate kind of how systems work, how these pieces come together. And your family is one of those too. It's very much like, as they describe it, the mobile over a child's bed. So if you pull down on one side, it makes the other one come up and then it kind of moves around. You know those things? So if you think of it that way, if you have multiple children, mom, dad, etc., those things are all affecting each other. That's kind of the way the game goes. Well, one of the powerful things you can do to make that family mobile wobble in some really bad ways is to favor a child. Have a child that is your favorite. Because what happens as soon as you have a favorite, you've set in motion less favorite or an unfavored. And when you start doing that dynamic, then there's jealousy and there's competition and there's frustration. See, kids don't really, maybe the favorite, by the way, if you want to know if the one's favored, if the others say your favorite and they go, no, we're all the same, that's the favorite child. That's the way it goes. Everybody knows what's going on. What you want to do is give those children their life of loving them all equally, maybe in unique ways, but still all equally. The ideal would be for you to love your spouse more than the kids. That's the game that produces health, because that's what kids are looking for, the security of a mom and dad that love each other. When you pull them in close and make one favor and others out, then what happens is that favorite child starts being caught in a system where they're there to meet your emotional needs or to fix things for you. The others are pushed out and they may leave or rebel, etc. Even the favored children may not can stand it. And this can get kind of complicated. There's no need for that. It's just to use a little of your common sense. You wouldn't want to be the unfavored child, would you? Or were you? Well, this goes back to something called the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I can tell you in my own home, I would have loved for one of my parents in particular to have loved us all the same. I know for a fact that parent did not. Not saying this person didn't love us, but still there was a special treatment for one of the kids. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun to not be that kid. I'm not sure it would have been fun to be that kid. So my suggestion is to back off that thing, and you might want to even do it formally. What you don't want to do is what I saw in a movie one time, where this mom, I forget the movie, but she secretly told every child, "You're my favorite, don't tell the others. You're my favorite, don't tell the others." Well, that's warped in its own strange way. Look, get out of that business. Focus on the right priority in relationships and give those kids permission this way to go out and have friends in their own life and not feeling that weird obligation or that weird jealousy of being a favored child. God bless.
Okay, okay. That video was exactly what our lesson was about. Now, our scriptures come from Genesis, the 37th chapter, verses 1 through 22, and I'm going to read all of them. Verse 1. Now Jacob dwelt in a land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. This is the history of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Now Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. So he said to them, "Please, hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And indeed, your sheaf stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf." And his brother said to him, "Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us?" So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Then he dreamed still another dream and told it to his brothers and said, "Look, I have dreamed another dream. And this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me." So he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you?" And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, "Are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them." So he said to him, "Here I am." Then he said to him, "Please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me." So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. Now a certain man found him, and there he was, wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, "What are you seeking?" So he said, "I'm seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks." And the man said, "They have departed from here, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near to them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, "Look, this dreamer is coming. Come, therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say, some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams." But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, "Let us not kill him." And Reuben said to them, "Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands and bring him back to his father." Okay, so we're going to start with verse 1. Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. Okay, they're still in Hebron, right there, not too far from Beersheba in Canaan. But they said he dwelt there, but he didn't dwell there. He didn't live there all that time, because if you remember, the promise hadn't been given yet, but he did have some land. But he hadn't always stayed right in that land, Canaan. Because remember, he went to get married, and we're talking about Jacob, and he spent 7 years supposedly so that he could marry Rachel, but he wound up with Leah. And then he had to spend another 7 years working for Laban, their father, so that he could get Rachel. And then he spent another 6 to 8 more years of working there. And then he went back to Canaan. Verse 2. This is the history of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wife. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Okay, Joseph is a teenager, a young man, 17 years old. And he was a shepherd. And the way they're talking is like he was in charge. Now, remember, he was younger than all of his other 10 brothers. Maybe he was in charge because he was the son of a principal wife. And then there's something else that we should be aware of. And, those wives of the sons that were with him, they were Zilpah and Bilhah, and they were maids of Rachel and Leah. Now, what makes this funny again, and why he is so much favored, is that everything usually goes to the firstborn, and Reuben was the firstborn, but Reuben had an affair with Jacob's wife, one of those maids. I think it was Bilhah that he had the affair with, and I think he fell out of favor of his father. Okay, so Joseph was a favorite, but he wasn't idle. He didn't just sit around and they didn't just baby him, and he went out and he was working. He was a shepherd. Now, when he was out there, his brothers did something. We don't know what they did, but he went back and told his father. Now, was he tattling? Was he being what we call tattletale? I don't know. I think he might have just been being an obedient servant for his father, and he told him what they had done. Verses 3 and 4. Now, Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Now, there's a lot about this. Israel should have known better. What did he come out of? Because Isaac and Rebekah had 2 sons. One loved one son more and the other loved the other son more. And we just saw that video about what that can do, how one can feel unfavored or not loved. Him and his brother, hey, he should have known. Jacob should have known. Isaac and Rebekah, hey, his father and mother, how they treated them, how they treated their children. Oh, now they mentioned the son of his old age. Now we see, this is one thing. They talk about the son of his old age. The youngest son that he had in his old age was Benjamin. So was Benjamin still alive? Was Rebecca still alive? Were they talking about the future? Because I don't know if you read it, but the end of our lesson, which we didn't really get to, but it tells us that Rachel had her last child, and that was Benjamin, but she died giving labor to Benjamin. So he is probably prophesying. Oh, this tunic, a favorite colors. The Romans, they used to get a tunic also. And, that was a special gift. The Romans wore these until they were 7 years old. The ones of the different colors. Then after they became 17, they went to a solid white toga. But when he received that gift, or when his father gave him that gift, that didn't do nothing but make the brothers despise Joseph. I don't know. I didn't have any brothers and sisters, so I was the only child. And no, I wasn't spoiled. At least I don't think I was. Speak peaceably. They didn't speak peaceably to him. There's a greeting that they give called shalom. I know a lot of you heard about assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, where they greet each other, peace to thee and love and all that. Well, they wouldn't say that back to him, from what I understand. And the thing about that is that if they didn't return that greeting, like that was showing an attitude of hostility. In fact, I read about it. It said if a Christian was to say to an Arab, shalom, and the Arab didn't return it, that tells you that he might do him some harm when he had the opportunity. The brothers did not wish Joseph well, and I guess they meant to do him harm. When did they actually start plotting? Who knows? Genesis 37, verses 5 and 7. Now Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brother, and they hated him even more. So he said to them, please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And indeed, your sheaf stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. And Joseph had dreams. Dreams were signs of something that came from above. They believed when you had a dream that God was giving you this dream. And, we have read in the past about those who have had dreams. Jacob had dreams, hatred. He already knew that they hated him. So why did he tell him? When I think of him and the things that he did, and he's going to do it again, it reminded me of Samson. Delilah kept on tricking him, and he never did. He just kept on doing the same thing. And I don't know why. So I don't know why Joseph kept up, knowing that his brothers hated him. And when he told them a dream, they hated him even more. But he's going to tell them another dream. This dream was of 11 sheaves bowing down to one sheaf. And what that was saying was that one sheaf had authority or superiority. And of course, Joseph was represented by that one sheaf. Was he showing off or was he prophesying? He was actually prophesying. He may not have known it, but that dream that he had, that had to come from God. Okay, Genesis 37, verse 8, it said, and his brother said to him, shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. When he told him that dream, that didn't do nothing but increase the anger. And his brother just got more angry. Sometimes I'd say mad, but when you think of people, when you talk about mad, you're talking about being crazy. But they weren't crazy, but they were just angry, and they hated him. And they must have hated him because of the things they're about to do. And they said, hey, we're older than you. What are we? We're going to serve you? You should be serving us. So that made him mad. That made him angry. What was he thinking? God had to be in that picture. I mean, I know if somebody hated me because they thought I was better than them, I wouldn't tell them things that would make me seem even more. Okay, here's a picture of a sheaf. That's all it is some wheat that they done tied together. And Joseph wheat was standing up, and the other 11 were bowing down to him. And when they talk about the other 11, so that's talking that there had to be prophesying, or, you start thinking, because then Benjamin had to be alive, or he's prophesying. So we don't know. We don't know if this was in chronological order again. Genesis 37:9. Now he dreamed still another dream and told it to his brothers and said, look, I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me. Oh my goodness. He's not doing anything but putting coal on the fire and make sure it's getting hotter, and they just getting angrier and angrier. Sun, moon, and 11 stars. The sun and moon, they had to be interpreting them. They had to be talking about his mother and his father and his 11 brothers. And the prophesying, did they know that he's going to have it's going to be 11 more of them? I don't know, because I don't know if Benjamin had already been born, but it seemed that he would have been born already, but he could have been talking about something that was going to happen in the future. But then again, he says sun and the moon, and the sun and the moon meant the mother and the father. Now his Rebecca had died, but they say, most of them say, the majority say that the 11 stars represent the brothers. Now, some say those might represent the zodiac signs, the months of the year, and that Joseph was the 12th one. Now, and they were also, again, being submissive to him. I'm going to get to that point. I didn't get to that point. But anyway, so he told it to his father, and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I, and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? Verse 11. And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Jacob rebukes him, but it was a light rebuke. He didn't really do anything about him, from what I understand. Now, his brothers envied him. They were resentful. They were jealous of him. We get back to the point, how could his mother bow down if she was dead? Then again, he could have been talking about in the future, and he could have been talking about one of his other wives that would be representing the mother. But all this did was increase resentment and jealousy, more hatred that his brothers had for him. But his father keeps this in mind, because his father knows that God sometimes reveals things in dreams. Then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem, and read verse 12 and 13. And Israel said to Joseph, are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them. So he said to him, here I am. Why did they go to Shechem? They had grass where they were at. They had water where they were at. But maybe they didn't have enough, or maybe they were already plotting, thinking that, hey, if we go far off, surely our father will send someone to check on us. It had already been plotting. Now, Shechem was 25 to 50 miles away. And, I put a question mark up there because they don't know, they may have been other towns called Shechem, and they could have been actually located in a different place. And also with Dothan, they don't know exactly where it was, but it was just about, I think, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles away from Shechem. Obedient son, he does what he had been told to do. Oh, now you think about this now. Okay, verse 14, 15. Then he said to him, please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me. So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. Now a certain man found him, and there he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what are you seeking? His father told him to go check on what's happening, and then come back and give me word. Let me know if everything is well. Shechem had to be considered a dangerous place. Why? I got down there at Dinah event. I know you have to know about Dinah. Dinah was one of Leah's kids. She was the daughter of Leah. And when they had been in Shechem, she had been raped. And when and then her two brothers, Simeon and Levi, went about with some others, and they killed all the men because they told them that Shechem asked, could he have her because he fell in love. And the father told him, no, because you're not one of us and you need to get circumcised. So all the men got circumcised. And while they were recovering from their circumcision, Simeon and Levi, they were the two main ones, and some others that they got with them, and they went about and killed all the men. So the Shechemites, and actually Canaanites, that was a dangerous place for them to be. They going back to where they had killed all the males. I know there had to be some resentment of the Shechemites for those brothers. And this man who saw Joseph, who was this man? And why? I guess he had to be in God's plan so that he could find out where they had went to. But some of them say that man was an angel. Some Hebrews say that this was an angel. In verse 16 and 17, so he said, I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks. And the man said, they have departed from here. For I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. How did he overhear the brothers? Where was he at? We don't know. Dothan was another 15 to 25 miles away. Okay, I said 10 to 15 to 25 miles away. Let me show you a picture of exactly where Dothan was at. Okay, here's Hebron, and here's Shechem, and up here is Dothan. Like I was saying, there could have been other places with the same name. That's why they're not sure about the mileage, the actual mileage. Okay, now verse 18 and 19. Now, when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, look, this dreamer is coming. Now, how do they recognize him when he's supposed to be way far away? Well, more than likely, he had on that tunic of many colors. And, about this tunic, some had him as I meant to get a picture, but some of them had him as a waist jacket. Some of them had him going all the way down to the ankles. They're pictures, and some of them had it with long sleeves and some of them had it with no sleeves. But exactly which one he had, you don't actually know. But they still wear these things nowadays, and they still wear, from all I understand, these things of many colors. The design and may have changed a little bit, but they still do this. Okay, they saw him and they started plotting again of what they're going to do to try to get rid of this dreamer, this, what they call him, I think, a pretender, the master dreamer. That's right. And they showed a whole bunch of contempt when they said he's the master dreamer. It wasn't some sign of respect. They were thinking he was making false pretensions. And that was considered like blasphemy when you had a dream, because this dream was supposed to be coming from God, but this dream that he was having, they were saying he's making it up. And that was considered as being blasphemy, at least in their eyes, because they didn't believe it was true. He was an artful pretender. That's what they thought he was. He was just pretending. Genesis 37:20. Come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams. Hey, kill him, and then they're going to go back and deceive their father. If he was dead, then that dream definitely couldn't come true. They definitely wasn't going to be bowing down to someone who was dead. Well, this is what was on their mind. We'll kill him, and this one will definitely not happen. Genesis 37:21 and 22. But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said to them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. So you see, Reuben was planning on not killing him and then coming back and saving him and bringing him to his father. Reuben intervenes. It's once again, we have to mention about Reuben. He said, no killing of we're not going to kill him. I don't understand why he did what he did. He had the most to lose. He was the firstborn, but the Joseph was a favorite. So why did he do it? Yeah, maybe he wanted to get back in favor with his father. But everybody comes up with conjectures and ideas, but we don't really know. Okay, that was the end of our lesson. Oh, and we come to our applications. Now, men do not always appreciate God's plans. Joseph's brothers desired him because of his dream, despised him because of his dreams. Yet God was merely revealing how Joseph would play a key role in their salvation. When the brothers attempted to thwart Joseph's dreams, they actually expedited them. We would do well to remember that the God who revealed Joseph's dreams to him knows the end from the beginning. Those who fight against God's will always lose. Those who fight against God will always lose. The favoritism shown to Joseph caused unnecessary problems in Jacob's family. Jealousy and envy are to be avoided, not encouraged. Parents would do well to learn from Jacob's mistake and seek to do differently. We should not treat our kids any different. Do not show favoritism. Do not treat one better than you treat the others. First question was, how old was Joseph at the beginning of this section? Okay, we all know he was 17 years old. What did Joseph report to Jacob concerning his brothers? That he had a bad report. We don't know what they were doing, but they did something they had no business doing. How did Jacob demonstrate his love for Joseph? Oh, he showed him favoritism and he gave him that special coat. The coat of many colors. How did Joseph's brothers respond to the favoritism shown to him? They hated him, envied him. They were jealous of him. What did Joseph share with his brothers and fathers and father? He shared his dreams that he had, and how they were going to bow down to him. He thought, what was it, the sun and the moon and 11 stars, and then the 11 sheaves was going to bow down to his one that was going to be standing upright. Where did Jacob send Joseph? To Shechem. What did the brothers want to do to Joseph? Hey, they wanted to get rid of him. They wanted to kill him. Okay, they don't say that Joseph is a type of Christ. But you can see that there are a lot of similarities with things that happened to Jesus and things that happened to Joseph. Now, the brothers of Joseph hated him. So it was with Jesus, who was hated by his brethren. And both Joseph and Jesus were sold for silver. The efforts of Joseph's brother to destroy him actually elevated him. And the efforts of Satan to destroy Christ made him savior of the world. Here's another one. Now, Joseph found himself, in a sense, between two male factors, the butler and the baker. Christ was crucified between two thieves. One of these characters was saved and the other one was destroyed. And the same with the two thieves. One was, he said that he would see him in his kingdom. And the other one died on the cross without being saved, without being promised anything. Joseph, beloved of the Father, was sent with a mission to the brethren. Jesus was sent from the Father with a mission to Israel. Now, Joseph begged the chief butler that Joseph begged of the chief butler that he would remember him when restored to his honor. And in an interchange resembling this, but with marked differences, the forgiving thief requested that Jesus would remember him when he came into his kingdom. Joseph saved the whole Jewish nation from the famine and death by bringing them into the land of Goshen. Christ saves the new Israel by bringing them into his kingdom. The main thing that we're shown in this lesson that we should have learned is that we should treat our kids equally. I think the next lesson is going to have to be dealing with Potiphar and Joseph in his house. Thank you. And we hope you'll see you, or you'll see me next week. God bless.